So hands up if you're old enough to remember the 2000s. I've just turned 35.
35.
And I was there. Low-rise jeans and barely there eyebrows were all the rage. I used to shave mine off with a razor. In many ways, it was a simpler time. We used to just watch the same music video on repeat all day. We thought that Shakira was refreshingly curvy. Yeah, you heard me, Shakira. I met her. She's tiny.
Vitamins are important, for example.
Vitamins.
We danced to Jenny from the Block. You know, it was before social media. So we all truly believed that that was J-Lo singing on the song. Because why wouldn't it be?
I'm still Jenny from the block. Used to have a little, now I have a little.
Let me paint you a picture. It's 2005. I am in my bedroom, surrounded by posters of the Pussycat Dolls, all of whom were basically body goals for teenage girls at the time. I'm on my floor and I'm reading a magazine about how Britney did 1,000 crunches a day to maintain her abs. So I lie down and I'm doing my crunches and I'm looking at my UK size 8 stomach. I was very slim and I'm looking at it like it's a Shar-Pei because the magazine I was just reading said that that's what Christina Aguilera's belly looked like and her belly looked like my belly, and yet she's basically the same size as Britney, who's on the cover of the magazine. We all thought we buried thin culture with our hair crimpers. I'm here today to talk about how it's having a resurgence.
This is Marilyn Monroe's dress. I tried it on and it didn't fit me. And so I looked at them and I said, give me like 3 weeks. And I had to lose 16 pounds.
It's like a really shit sequel that we never asked for, you know? At least with a movie you can turn it off. You just can't really escape thin culture right now. Like how we can't escape Ben and J-Lo getting engaged and breaking up. It's just so much deja vu, oh my god. Yeah, today I thought I would deep dive into how the toxic beauty standards of the 2000s messed with my body image for years, and why we absolutely need to put a stop to this resurrection of the glorification of skinny before we all lose our minds again. But first, I want to quickly thank today's video sponsor, which is BetterHelp. Quite relevant to this video topic, but counselling has been critical in helping me to decouple my body image, my ability to just love myself, accept myself from health. That was a problem for me for a really long time. I just couldn't separate them. Family and friends, they often say all the wrong things because I think it's hard to sit with someone you love and hear them say awful things about themselves or about how they're feeling, and you can end up going into like fixing mode. I'm going to fix you. And just giving them all this advice. Sometimes it's terrible advice, but with BetterHelp, you are paired with a professional therapist who will give you qualified, unbiased advice. My therapist is particularly good at just helping me to work through things, to, you know, get myself from A to Z, rather than just prescribing and telling me, do this, and think this, and this. She's just been amazing. If you're struggling with something and you would like to speak with a professional, check out my link below. It will give you a special discount on your first month. Usually within just 48 hours, you'll be paired with someone, and then you can have weekly video chats with them. You can message them, you can phone them, you can very easily switch therapists within BetterHelp as well until you find someone who you really, really vibe with. I cannot recommend them enough. They've been instrumental in my mental health journey over the past few years. So yeah, with that, let's dive in to this sticky topic. In 2009, English model Kate Moss, a symbol of the diet culture of the time, famously popularised the quote, "Nothing tastes as good as skinny feels." I know, you're probably having horrific flashbacks. Kate was basically the blueprint for how we all felt like we were supposed to look back then. She was consistently thin and toned and ready to fit into the smallest outfit on the rack. I don't mean to get all about time on yous.
I love Kate Moss.
But Kate Moss never had anorexia. She never took heroin, even though she became the face of the heroin chic era when dark circles and hollowed cheekbones were all the rage. They were seen as aspirational. But yeah, she's since admitted that she regrets saying this phrase because literally so many young girls at the time heard her say that, clung to that, and it would run through their mind every time they felt hungry. If you were ever a Tumblr user, you'll know it was a mantra. It was something that people with eating disorders lived by, because back then the media gaslit us every single day. Objectively thin, fit, healthy women were often labelled as fat, or they were criticised for not being thin enough. It's crazy to think back about it, but words like curvy and full-figured were used derogatively. You know, we all grew up hearing phrases like, does my bum look big in this? Yeah, I remember everyone from Jessica Simpson, Tyra Banks, Kate Winslet, Renee Zellweger, even Britney Spears. Like, we all remember that performance and how everyone was like, oh, she's like a pig the size of her. I've never been so toned and fit looking in my life, and I was even looking at her in horror because of it was just constantly comparing her to this completely unrealistic version of herself when she was just way over exercising and under eating. Poor old Britney, you know, she's been through it.
No wonder Britney shaved her hair off and was swinging at photographers. I would have done the same thing.
Literally remember Jerry Halliwell was called the Fat Spice Girl. Like, Jerry. And then, do you remember? She came back and she was like really, really skinny, and it was just, everyone then was looking back at the way she was like, oh, she was massive. Jennifer Lawrence recently came out talking about how she was considered a fat actress back when she was in the Hunger Games. Nice. And like, she was such a teeny tiny lady. Like, if I look back at her back then, it just makes me realise the level of gaslighting. I was watching her just being like, oh, good for her. That chubby girl getting to play Katniss Everdeen. And like, she was asked to lose a stone.
That's insane to me. Like,
in 2 weeks.
From where?
And she said no.
Because she's absolutely tiny in that film.
They wanted her to do a Black Swan, but considering the demographic of the Hunger Games, if she had lost a load of weight just to play the character, just no. And she was described as being big boned and like having lingering baby fat, having a well-fed body. So this is what we're all looking at as like, oh, that's too big.
Yeah.
So what am I then? Like, am I a beached whale? On the one hand, it just felt amazing seeing all these women smashing it, just becoming so successful, but tied to their success usually was their thinness. And I think we all internalized the message that to be successful, to be desirable, we must be thin. We must not be able to pinch an inch.
This is the Special K pinch. So is this. If you can pinch more than an inch, you may need to watch your weight.
Popular magazines like Cosmo were just churning out the damaging headlines like how to lose 10 pounds in a week, right next to photos of celebrities who were already really thin. And then they'd always have, you know, the long lens zoomed in shots of celebs. And it'd be like a tiny bit of cellulite. It would be just some poor actress trying to enjoy her vacation. These magazines tore these women to shreds. Don't even get me started on all the diets. Like, I remember trying so many of them as well when I was just a teenager. The cabbage soup diet or the master cleanse. Remember that, where you're just having these drinks. Zone diet, grapefruit diet, blood type diet, Atkins diet. And you definitely could not escape diet culture fuel if you were a cinephile like myself. I just loved movies from when I was 3. I watched films on repeat, and the idealization of thinness was insane in 2000s movies.
Hey, all I'm saying is she's got cankles, for God's sake. What? Cankles. She's got no ankles. It's like the calf merged with the foot.
You know Natalie, who works here?
The chubby girl?
Would we call her chubby?
I think there's a pretty sizable ass there, yes, sir. Huge thighs.
Yeah.
I really want to lose 3 pounds.
Oh my God, what are you talking about?
You're so skinny.
You have a dog! Did you ever think you'd see the day? Me with a pooch?
Mother of God, what's with the gut?
Laura, this is Bridget.
Hey there.
I thought you said she was thin. I'm not even hungry anymore.
What?
That is why those girls are so skinny.
Oh, no. Give me that. There's like $8 of Jarlsberg in there.
And all these movies, while I love them still, they always have a place in my heart. But, you know, there's a bit of trauma wrapped up there because, like, they totally contributed to widespread body dissatisfaction back then, and disordered eating and body dysmorphia, and these things have lasted with a lot of us for years and years and years. I'll never forget where it all started for me. Like, I genuinely thought that if I could pull off a pair of low-rise jeans, that I would magically become, you know, like the cool girls in school. I'd wear them and I'd just feel really self-conscious in them. And no, I didn't become any cooler. I was one of the weird kids who sat under the stairs. I've opened up about my body dysmorphia before, but I do think that voice started speaking to me when I was in a pair of low-rise jeans. I was in this Chinese restaurant with some of my friends and I had like a belly top and low-rise jeans, and I just remember just feeling so conscious of the softness of my stomach and the fact that there was like little rolls, and I was really slim. I just didn't have that much muscle because I wasn't like super athletic or whatever, but just my body type, you know, and I'd store fat around my middle, and you'd never ever see a picture of someone with low-rise jeans and like anything but a Britney level belly. Like that, all you saw, there was no internet, no social media, no TikTok, no Instagram. All you had was magazines and movies and everything like that, music videos. So the societal message was, this is how you should look if you want to be sexy and whatever. You know, all the things that teenage girls want to be. Because you're so easily influenced, you're so vulnerable to societal messaging at that age. Yeah, so I was sitting there looking down on my belly as it expanded, as your belly does when you consume the food required to live. And yeah, I was just more conscious than I ever am when I wear, like, you know, high-rise jeans. That's when I developed a love of A-line. And that has lasted with me forever. No, A-line is not always like in fashion or whatever, but I don't care. That's what I'm comfortable in. That is the scar that those days left on me. You know, in my 20s, at a time when the whole world was embracing not just bodies like mine that were just kind of more average or whatever for the time, but, you know, also much curvier bodies, fat bodies, all of the bodies. At long last, I'd been so gaslit my whole life that I remember, you might remember this vlog from, it was like 2018, and I like felt it was a brave act to post these pictures online. And it's so funny looking back now at how objectively slim I actually was. Even within the body positive movement, nearly everyone has an hourglass shape or a pear shape. I'm apple shaped. I store all my weight in my middle and on my arms. And now I'm looking at my tiny, innocent, little 19-month-old daughter and how beautiful and perfect she is. You know, she has this whole journey ahead of her, and it gives me goosebumps to think about it. To think about her ever not feeling good enough. She's going to grow up in this world where there are influencers who have horrific influence on young girls.
Let's go out and kill a few beasts.
This is How to Be a Model Skinny Part 4. I'm gonna give you guys my secret drink that I'm drinking to lose so much weight and to be so skinny this summer. Like, this is gonna make you guys drop weight in like the next 3 days.
And where diabetes drugs are being abused by girls with eating disorders in the pursuit of thinness. And we really need to talk about what's going on right now in 2024. Because despite the efforts of the body positivity movement, which promotes an affirming view of bodies of all shapes and sizes, and despite the traction gained by the fat acceptance movement, which aims to educate people around anti-fat bias.
This is your friendly fat reminder to tell you that this right here, actually, it's not called a fupa. This is a belly.
We are seeing a seismic shift. Tons and tons of fat content creators online are abandoning the fat liberation movements, body positivity movement, getting weight loss surgery, going on diets, taking the weight loss drugs that are becoming really popular right now, and dying.
These 4 social media influencers were swept up by a movement that claims obesity is perfectly healthy. The tragic truth is they have all died under the age of 45.
Which is an uncomfortably hot topic right now. And you have all these, right-wing content creators jumping on this, being like, told you so.
Just because I'm fat, that doesn't invalidate the things that I say.
She died.
You ready to get supersized?
She died too.
Today I've got the big Fruit Loop.
He's dead.
Join me on my Fat Positive radio show.
Which didn't last long because she died.
And I hate that this is really important to talk about when we're examining why things are coming back around. Let's just be very clear. There is a huge difference between the gaslighting beauty standards that for years told us that objectively thin women were actually fat, that women that fell outside of this tiny little standard here, which is basically all women, that all women must be smaller, and fat positivity, which is quite important in protecting the rights and the mental health and, of so many people these days are considered overweight, obese. These movements were incredibly healing and important for a lot of people, and everyone deserves our love and the same opportunities. But yeah, these two things, while very different, are related because many of the women who were gaslit by 2000s thin culture went on to later find refuge within the body positivity movement, within, health at every size, all these movements. And what happened for me, and I know a lot of people in my personal life, but people I know from online, it became really confusing. The line between self-love, self-acceptance and health. And, if you had health goals and if your health goals resulted in weight loss, and how you would be perceived then, and what that meant about bigger bodies.
I don't want peace. I want problems, always.
Let me just talk about myself for a minute. Anytime I have had a health kick, fitness kick or whatever, I've noticed my body changing. Similarly, anytime that I gained weight, I would be eating more of a certain type of food. Not going to go on about that, but more of the ultra-processed food would naturally result in me wanting more and eating more because it wouldn't be as satiating, and, how it impacts gut health and all that. Just noticing my body changing. You're going to notice it because your jeans are going to suddenly be too tight, or your jeans are going to suddenly be loose, and you're going to notice it. There's no way around that. How you feel about it and how you react to the changes is one thing, but you're going to notice it. And I found for me, alarm bells started going off within these movements online. I just started feeling unsafe because it was just very confusing. I would see, a bigger content creator talk about having really sore knees walking around and the pressure that her weight was putting on her joints and this, that and the other. And so she lose a bit of weight and then she talked about it. And her audience, I shit you not, wanted to lynch her. And this was happening all the time, So I just feel like we found ourselves in a really weird place. Because on the one hand, we were like, okay, yes, starving yourself, not cool. Being thin, not important really. Cool. But then things went so far in the opposite direction where it was like, how dare you want to lose 10 pounds under any circumstances? And you're being chased with pitchforks for expressing the tiniest drop of desire to undo a period of your life where maybe you were having a lot of Easter eggs and takeaways because you were really stressed. And people, audiences, massively projecting onto these celebrities and content creators, looking at them and saying, okay, look, you're successful and you look like me, so that means I can be successful. I'm putting way too much weight on this other person. Like, self-love comes from within. That's just one side of it. Then there's also the fact that the same people like, the World Health Organization or whatever, the people who we were like, you better believe these people, because vaccines are really important and breastfeeding is really good for babies and having a lot more fat on your body is correlated with a lot of diseases. And oh, wait, what? No, that one doesn't fit with my fat positivity. So it was just very confusing. You go to your doctor and your doctor's talking about your BMI, but then the internet, we are all debunking BMI. And literally, I think where we've been at is a lot of people are in this place of what will keep me safe, what is right, I need parameters, I need boundaries. People love a rule, people love a goal to aspire to. And then it's like, oh, hello, low-rise jeans, bringing back rules and order. But no, please no. Low-rise jeans are back, people. And with them, the pressure to have a completely flat stomach. Burn them, just burn them. There's nothing wrong with being slim, being toned, wanting to show off your midriff.
So my whole life, I've constantly had people commenting on me being too slim, and that in itself has been a lot to process. Like,
yeah, you can't win.
You cannot win. Like, constantly being told to eat, that I don't eat, that I have an eating disorder. Like, it's just never ending.
The problem arises when a certain specific shape, size, figure becomes idealized, especially when it is one that is not easily attainable or natural for most people. When that becomes idealized, and then unhealthy behaviors are promoted and normalized in the pursuit of this ideal.
But it would be like people telling me that I need to look like Beyonce,
Yeah.
or Kim Kardashian. But a body type like that would never be attainable for me, To have a body type like that, I'd have to go and get a BBL and get a boob job, know?
That there is the problem, not the actual thinness itself. Because so much of a person's health and weight is determined by things largely out of their control. Like, we are living in an environment of ultra processed food. People have time constraints due to capitalism, so a lot of people can't cook for themselves. Poverty, trauma, stress, fatigue, and even, yes, genetic vulnerability. Exercise is great. Avoiding excess sugar, great. For your health, blah blah. But these things are not the answer, and so you have young girls looking for an answer and they just want some bloody celebrity or influencer to come along and give them the magic pill, the magic bullet, when in fact we all dip in and out of health throughout our lives, even within a 5-year span. And we all know and openly talk about the fact that being a very low weight can come with massive health risks, as can obsessing over having a very low weight.
Yesterday, News Talk ran a segment on their social media pages featuring a well-known doctor, Dr. Eva, who, when asked about people restricting calories and not being able to lose weight, she said, well, we should send these people to Ethiopia. And another thing that she said was, nothing feels as good as skinny feels. So let's break these two things down. First of all, the Ethiopia comment. The famine in Ethiopia was decades ago. Ethiopia is now the 55th largest economy in the world. Her statement was both ignorant and racist. Going back to the second statement, nothing feels as good as skinny feels. Well, let's loop back around to famine. How good do these people feel? These are potentially our ancestors here in Ireland back in the 1800s when we had a famine. And we've carried the epigenetics of that famine forward. It has affected how easily we gain weight, how we hold on to weight, all sorts of things that science is only now beginning to understand. How about this baby here? How good does this skinny baby feel? Fantastic? I don't think so, because this baby is in a war zone and can't get the nutrition that they need. And their mother is in a similar situation, and I bet you she doesn't feel that good, even though she's pretty skinny. Both of these comments were so unbelievably harmful, outdated, racist, ignorant.
Thin culture in 2024 is much sneakier than it once was. It hides behind wellness trends like body optimization and biohacking. There's often rhetoric around health and an absence of explicit celebration of weight loss. It's the same old crap dressed up different. People are once again worshipping thinness. Gwyneth Paltrow barely eats.
I have coffee, but I really like soup for lunch. I have bone broth for lunch a lot of the days. Try to do 1 hour of movement. So I'll either take a walk or I'll do Pilates or I'll do my Tracy Anderson. And then I get in the sauna. I dry brush and I get in the sauna. So I do my infrared sauna for 30 minutes. And then for dinner, I try to eat, according to paleo. So lots of vegetables. It's really important for me to support my detox.
Rebel Wilson said she ate 600 calories a day to detox. Please listen to me when I say that I have first-hand experience in the fact that being in a smaller body does not automatically make you any happier, any more successful, any healthier. I have been much bigger and yes, had very poor health and felt like crap. I have been smaller and I have had poor health and felt like crap. Binge eating, mental health issues. I've gained weight again and felt amazing. Great physical and mental health. And I had one pregnancy where I felt really healthy, and I had another pregnancy where I didn't look that much different, but I felt terrible. And my body has changed so many times, and it's never been my weight that's determined my mental or physical health or my success. I think at my most successful on YouTube, actually, I was a couple of sizes bigger than I am now. And that was around the time I met my now husband, and he loved me just as much when I was in a bigger body as he does now. It breaks my heart seeing this obsession on social media right now with thinness. Honestly, we've been through this before. We know how it ends. It's not pretty. A whole generation of women with massive issues. Do I have hope? I do have hope that we can bring the focus back to how we feel, not how we look. And to do that, we have to call out bullshit when we see it. We have to remind ourselves and each other that we can be and feel beautiful no matter what we look like, by celebrating what makes us unique. I have this birthmark here and everyone always thinks it's a hickey and it looks like Cocoa Pops or an upside down map of England or something. And my daughter, she has a little birthmark on her cheek and it's the most beautiful thing ever. And I'm always talking to my husband about how I really hope she doesn't grow up and want to laser it off or get rid of it or something, or just feel paranoid about it, because it just makes her so gorgeous. The little things and quirks that make us different, let's highlight them. Let's not all keep wanting to all just morph into the same blob, have the same face. I cannot tell the difference anymore between Beyonce and Kim Kardashian. We need to stop putting thinness on a pedestal, because as my queen Nigella Lawson once said, I don't equate thinness with healthiness as other people do, because I've only ever seen people get thin and then die. Really think about that. My grandmother got super skinny right before she died. She lost 3 or 4 stone. Wasted away. I always say that to people when they kind of talk about how everything will be better if I just lose weight. Sometimes losing weight means losing vital muscle that you need in your old age. Sometimes it means flushing out a load of water and then fucking up your electrolyte balance. So whether it's on social media, in the fashion world, in the office, in our own heads, let us together shut down the toxic message that we must be thin at all costs, and let us lift up the voices out there promoting healthy beauty standards. And if you're struggling with this stuff, please know that you're not alone. Talk to someone, talk to me down in the comments, talk to someone through BetterHelp. They're always there if you need a professional. Very important, unfollow accounts on Instagram and the that make you feel less than. And remember that you are worthy of love no matter what. I'll see you again in my next video. What do we think of the lip liner actually? I wore a lip liner today. I never wear a lip liner. I think I'm going to start because I've got crusty, skinny little 35-year-old lips.
Birthday girl, 35.
35 to 44.
Honey, welcome to my box.